Let's talk about some of these other talking points we have in the description here.
Sure.
Number two we've got is the truth about peptides. You've got to be above average intellect to use them. What do you mean by that?
Okay, so I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to get into this. So, as you know, which we'll be talking about the course. We launched the course in early April. Did the typical 1 week launch, and now people like yourself are promoting it. Ben Greenfield promoted it, and what we found, Richard, this is crazy, is that you cannot be. And again, this is not probably nobody in your crowd, to be honest with you, but an average person, of an average IQ attempts to use peptides and they're going to get confused. Mm. And the reason that is, as you know, is reconstitution of 2 milligram, 5 milligram, 10 milligram vials, understanding the difference between a microgram and a milligram, understanding the difference between bacterial static water and the constituent of the raw peptide. There's a lot of little sciencey things that are involved in the usage of these things that the average person is like, dude. I mean, like I'll give you a better example.
Just give me a pill is what they're saying, right?
Well, like,
and then that's when they go to the doctor and get a pharmaceutical.
I'll give you a better example. People will listen to our stuff. This will happen to you. It's probably already happened to you 100 times for all I know. And they're like, oh my God, you got me so excited. I want to heal. I went and bought it. I ordered the syringes, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, oh, fuck. What do I do now?
Yeah. What did I get into?
It's like, well, did you listen? So, this is coming from Nick and I. We did a private group call about 3 weeks about this. We're kind of like, there's a certain level of intellect that you really have to possess, from a critical thinking and discernment standpoint, that like no amount of videos of me or you pinching and withdrawing and injecting and all that stuff is really going to teach you, unless you have this, like I said, it's just like this minimum standard of information and knowledge. And so that's where it really gets weird, is like, do your homework. If you're going to listen to this today and you're going to buy these, and obviously both of us recommend that you do go down this path for so many reasons, just pay attention. And Richard, to people in the public's defense, there's not a lot of great information out there. Mm-hmm. There's bro boards, there's peptide research chemical company websites with information, but there's not a lot of really good information in there. And I've told you this before, I think on one of our podcasts, and maybe it was in private, but when Nick and I'm talking about Nick Andrews, who's the co-founder of my company, Asir, and Nick, when we went to A4M in 2018 together in Las Vegas, the big anti-aging convention, we were at the two biggest peptide vendor booths, and we saw all the doctors rushing up there, and we were listening to their questions, and we're like, oh my God, these people are writing scripts for these things and they don't even know the first thing, so that's kind of where we are. And, so even doctors, as you know this, the majority of people that have purchased the course are doctors. And some of the questions I field from them are like, you're fucking writing scripts to patients? Right? So there is like this basic level of awareness and knowledge that somebody has to have. And obviously, if you take our course, which we'll talk about, not to be a shill, you can gain that. But it is difficult. It's not, buy it over the line, comes to your house, and then boom, you start injecting it. It's not that simple.
I would say it's a little bit overwhelming at first, but once you get your head wrapped around the basics of reconstituting a dry powder in a vial, how to draw it into like a backfill syringe, how to backfill an insulin syringe, where to inject, like how often to inject. You can't get around it, right? Like there's not much in the way of peptides that will be useful if it passes through your digestive tract. It has to generally go into like, it has to go into your skin. There's really no way around it. If you want the healing benefits, you're going to have to poke a tiny little hole in your body.
So Richard, let's talk about that, because first off, yes, and thank you for saying it, but do you have any idea how many doctors are out there? And again, not their fault that they're as clueless, but they are buying oral. This is again, new stuff that we find out from the people who are purchasing the course. They're buying oral lozenges of these injectable peptides. These compound pharmacies are preying on the ignorance of these doctors. I mean, I had a really smart guy who follows me message me about a month ago, maybe 5 weeks ago. He bought the course and he's like, look, man, I bought the course because I love you. I support your work. But he goes, I've been using peptides for 3 years and they don't work for me. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And then he tells me that he's been taking a lozenge of ipamorelin. I'm like, what? who sold you? He sends me pictures. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. So then it's like, you realize that again, it's buyer beware, pray or be preyed upon. You know, all these people out there in the medical community who are clueless are now being taken advantage of, people that are supposed to be their allies, selling them worthless oral lozenges. So let's go back to what you just said. This is very important for anybody watching this podcast. You cannot take a peptide. Okay. Now there are rare exceptions, and there are people out there like, you know, Seeds and some of these other people that are selling BPC in a capsule. And BPC in a capsule is essentially worthless. I know I'm just going to get mad. People are going to get mad at me because the dosage, you already said it, Richard, that is required to be orally bioactive is not found in the capsules that you're buying them. Now, I'm not going to tell you that you won't get some benefit for your microbiome, because again, in the stomach, you'll get something. But if you expect to take an oral capsule of BPC with a delt injury, a joint of the elbow, a knee, an ankle, you're fooling yourself. You're not going to get jack shit. Even if you took the whole bottle, it's not about the actual dosage in the capsule. It's about, as you said, Richard, it's about first passed through the digestive tract. The only way an oral capsule of medication is effective is through an alkylation process, a methyl alkylation process, which means it has to pass through the liver, which, as you know, Richard, with anabolic steroids that are oral, you know, that's what causes liver damage. And really anything that's methyl alkylated, if it's taken repeatedly, will cause damage to your hepatic system, which is the liver function. So all these people out there that are buying BPC, and dude, you know this, there's Facebook companies now, you see them, they're in your ads, buy this BPC. I've seen Wolverine Healing and all this nonsense. And then I look at the dosage and I'm like, anybody who buys that is getting ripped off, because there's not enough active ingredient. And even if there was, and by the way, it's illegal if they put an active amount, it doesn't make it through the digestive system. So you have to inject. Now, before somebody fact checks me and leaves me something on here, there are some intranasal peptides. There are definitely some cognitive nootropic enhancing peptides that you can snort. But as I always say, who the fuck wants to snort a nootropic when you can inject it? And then again, you know, again, to fact check myself, there are some oral nootropic peptides like dihexa, C-Max, and Selank that you can take that are effective. But outside of that, Richard, as you said, everything has to be injected. Highest impact, most bioavailable in the body, into portal circulation, you have to inject it. If you're buying peptides and orally sucking them or licking them or lozenging them, you're getting ripped off.
Hey guys, I really hope that you enjoyed that short clip. If you did, consider supporting the creation of content by checking out my supplement line. Pinned in the top comment below of this video in the comments, there's a link to the unpluggedalpha.com/shop. When you click through, you'll be able to land over here, and the entire lineup is broken down by category that it performs best in: estrogen metabolism, fat burning, your foundational essentials for health, immune health, performance, and testosterone support. If you check out with coupon code ALPHA10, you'll get 10% off on your first order. There's also the option to use the subscribe and save model, where regular shipments will be sent over to you on a regular basis, and that gives you a little bit of a discount, and your supplement facts are always broken down over here. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have an awesome day. And again, check out that link. It's pinned in the top comment below in this video. Peace out.